He's going to swing it all the way over to Brazil. Brazil going to pass inside to Conforti. Conforti fakes it, then goes up with the right hand. Draws the foul, and one for Riley Conforti. Let's see what they can do. City Carr's wide open again in the corner, and it's a second three in a row for Sydney Carr. Back-to-back threes. 53-44 is now the score. Looks in the direction of Gaskins. Gaskins going to take it himself. He steps back for the mid-range. Falls on his back, going to be rebounded by Isaiah Thomas.
Do you think they look for Brooks here?
Brooks is the one who does currently have it. He's going to take the long three. Michael Brooks has done it. Has 1,000 points as he drills back to... Caden Warner going to take over. He's going to zip this one inside to Aiden Anderson. Beautiful find there for Caden Warner. Threw from half court all the way over. Sledge has nowhere to go. He's trapped. He finds Thomas, though. Thomas going to quickly go back. Mid-range shot will be taken and will fall for Trey Euler. Name we haven't really called too much tonight. He takes the mid-range shot. Cannon going to spin and get denied by Isaiah Thomas on the back end of the court. LaRoche takes back over. This is now Michael Brooks who has it. He, of course, hit over 1,000 points tonight for his career. He's going to pass to Euler. Euler goes back over to Thomas.
9-point lead for the Pioneers. Their biggest lead they've had so far this season to start off the second half. And Caden Warner will have it. Thus far, it has been the Caden Warner show. He's going to step back and fake the three. He swings to Williams. This will be Williams who drives inside. He hop steps. He goes back in the corner. He finds Warner. Warner for the quick three. Count that one. Caden Warner. Another three on the night for him. That's his third. He now has 13 points.
Quick reset now for Carlo. And Mowbray will quickly pass. And we'll go to the Rosensteel. We say another three now. And how about that one? Emily Hillen-Gardner for the three. And we have a timeout. Penn State Altoona. 31-27 is the lead. In her drive, she goes up with the right hand. 4 seconds off of the shot clock. Rebounded by Chloe Williams. Williams will look and she will find Alexis Giles. Giles will take her time. We'll now see a quick 3-4-point par. Mackenzie Stoner, who just checked into the game, drills the three for the Pioneers. It is
Boston.
I'm going to be honest. I know this is the favorite here, but I'm going to go Oregon. I don't see a world where any other team right now, either in the SEC, Big 10, or Big 12, can upset Oregon. I mean, head coach Dan Lanning, he is the easy number one candidate for head coaching in the NFL going into this offseason. Dylan Gabriel, underrated quarterback, absolute stud, dual threat. I just don't see any other team stopping him so far, so I'm going to go Oregon all the way.
And TJ Watt, as great as he is, he's not playing like his usual self. This was the worst 6-game span that I have ever seen out of TJ Watt. I want to read you guys a stat real quick. 193 consecutive snaps without recording a single stat. That is TJ Watt. We're going to really say that's better than Myles Garrett? It's debatable now. Not only that, if you want to dive into more specifics, let's go back to the Baltimore game, which was played this past Saturday. In that game against the Baltimore Ravens, TJ Watt, his stat line, he played 63 consecutive snaps. That's an entire defensive game. No injuries, no flags, no penalties, 63 consecutive snaps. In those 63 stats, TJ Watt had 0 tackles, 0 sacks, a single pressure, and 2 missed tackles. 2 missed tackles. That pretty much equates to negative tackles, ladies and gentlemen. TJ Watt had -2 tackles in a playoff game against a division rival. Are we really going to sit up here with a straight face and say that that's elite? That that's a game changer? That that's a defensive player of the year candidate? I'm sorry. That's abysmal. That's not a good argument at all. TJ Watt has not had a stat since Christmas. The last time he made a tackle was a 5-yard loss against Isaiah Pacheco on Christmas Day. That was the last time TJ Watt has made a tackle. A tackle.
LaRoche takes back over with 5 seconds left. Epps has it for LaRoche. 3 seconds. He's going to take the final shot, and it's going to fall. Buzzer beater 3 for Bryce Epps. What a way to end off the first half. 45-29. Wow.
38-32, just under 4 seconds. Visconti has it. Back to Burns. Burns for the final 3, and it falls! Buzzer beater 3 for Jess Burns as time expires. It is 38-35. What a way to end off the third period, Connor. Wow. I'm so glad you said that, actually. The deciding factor for this game is going to be Carson Beck. If Carson Beck shows up, it's going to be closer than people think. If Carson Beck doesn't show up,
I believe Texas is going to.
Up does not fall. Sydney Carr will grab the rebound. Sydney Carr, player of the week for the AMCC, fakes it out. She'll go to Clark, who is open. She goes back to Carr now. Carr bounce passes inside the Kano. Kano surveying the scene. She has options. 3 defenders on her. Goes back to Carr.
Absolutely, and I mean Tennessee is also undefeated at home as well. They're 6-0, and 3 of those games they put up 2 scores against their opposing teams. So I believe Nico, when he has one heck of an arm. The offense is extremely explosive. I see Tennessee honestly making a legit run this.
Hilgardner to a wide open Sydney Carr. 4-3. Sydney Carr, the player of the week. Drills another 3. It is now a 6-point lead. Brooks will jab. He's going to go left with the sidestep 3. Michael Brooks' 3 just bounces off rim. And this one going to be put back up and in by Brandon Bell. His first points of the night. The freshman forward, sitting at 6'6". Janetta now goes to Moyer. Moyer back to Gaskins. Gaskins to Lewis. Lewis will find Conforti. Conforti bounces. Moyer's direction now. Great ball movement here for Carlo as Conforti drives inside. He goes to the corner for Gaskins, who takes the 3. Byron Gaskins for Carlo. Left in the game clock, 12 on the shot clock. Miller takes the long 3 and drills this one. Aiden Miller with another 3. Second of the day for him.
The best Italian food that you're ever going to taste.
Oh, do you have like a go-to on menu item on there? Is there a go-to?
Oh, absolutely. The penne pasta with vodka sauce.
That sounds good. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really good. I'm definitely gonna have to go give that one a try later on as well.
No denying that, yeah. And then, I mean, they're gritty on defense, too. Both Achado Ballo and Emma Pavlik has done a good job at spreading the court, being able to play both sides of the ball. Ari Blada this year getting a 1,000th point in her career as well. So the women's team has also had their overcomings this year, and they've had a bit of strain of lack of success early on, but they were able to pull together some wins towards the end of the season as well. And it's just nice to see that sense of unity as well, being able to go both for the men and the women.
Coleman going to respond, though, with a 3 of his own. Daquan Coleman with another 3. That's his 3rd of the night, Connor. He has been electric. That will take the lead for Salem, 57-55.
Look, here's the deal with the Penguins. I think I speak for most Penguins fans out there when I say this. I am disgusted with the way the organization is being run right now. You talk about 2 consecutive years of missing the playoffs. The 3 years prior to that were all first-round exits. 2 of them courtesy of the New York Islanders, 1 of them courtesy of the New York Rangers. When is enough enough? I think now is finally the time we start to ship some players off and we start to sell. Now, I'm the biggest Crosby advocate out there. I believe Crosby should stay at Pittsburgh Penguins. Same thing with Evgeny Malkin. But when we look at Chris Letang and his 3 years left that he has on his contract, when we look at a Graves, when we look at a Raquel, those are players that, like, honestly, it may be time to move on. It may be time to look for some trade partners. I think it's time to start selling. Their first year in Division II play and being able to go into the playoffs for the first year and get a playoff win, especially for the men's sake. I mean, they were going on a 9-game losing streak going into the playoffs this year. And the fact that the men were able to pull together and string together a win and actually have a close matchup going towards near the semifinals, I mean, that is absolutely historic for Point Park. And both of us had the chance to call several of those games this year. And I mean, I think I speak for the both of us when I say Point Park has always showed grit, they've always showed determination, and they always showed that sense of unity.
No, I agree.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I really don't see that happening. I mean, Riley Leonard, I'm not fully sold on him just yet. I mean, he had an impressive last year at Duke, but ever since he transferred, he has a turnover problem. He averages about 1 interception a game. He almost lost a couple of balls. I mean, the decisions he makes on 3rd down, I'm just not sold on Riley Leonard just yet. And I mean, the opponents that they have played, Purdue, really? You're telling me Purdue's a legit contender?
No.
Navy, Army. I'm not sold on these opponents just yet. And the NIU loss was just a disgrace. So I think they're pretenders.
I'll agree.
Looks for Walter. Walter takes the 3. Walter drives inside, goes back to Ballo. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Ballo going to have to shoot it here. She puts it up, and this one hits off glass. Watkins grabs the rebound yet again for the Penguins. She quickly goes to Gregory. Gregory to King, and it is blocked by Achado Ballo. Ballo came out of nowhere, denies Erica King's layup.
SEC, what are our thoughts on the SEC?
I mean, I'm just gonna go in my pocket real quick and go horns up on this game right here. I got Texas over Georgia.
You need to.
Yeah, but here's the issue. They haven't stuck to that. Over the last couple years,
They
I mean,
brought in
what have
Eric
the Penguins-
Carlson. I think
and what did
that's
that do?
sticking to it.
What did Eric Carlson do?
Sure, he hasn't worked out, but like, if you're gonna do something like that, you have to commit to it.
Exactly. Look, when we can break down the coaching side of things. I'm not a big Mike Sullivan fan. We can go into the defensive pairings. We can go into the poor goaltending. I mean, ever since Matt Murray left this team, we went from a Tristan Jarry, a Casey DeSmith, Louis Domingue. We've been all over the place with goaltending. We have not found a solidified starting goalie for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can blame that on the coaching. You can blame that on GM. Sidney Crosby, I agree with everything you're saying. He is a terrific player. I would argue he's the best player in Penguins franchise history over Lemieux. But the fact of the matter is this. The Penguins need to move on. They need to make some change. We have not seen success in the last couple of years. 2 of them missing the playoffs entirely. First 3, first-round exits. When is enough enough? So Mike Sullivan, over the last couple of years, they have struggled to make the playoffs, number one. They missed the playoffs last year. They missed the playoffs the year before. Florida Panthers squeezed into the playoffs. Vegas Golden Knights then went on in that playoffs, went to the Stanley Cup Finals to lose in 5 games. The year prior to that, the New York Rangers series went to 7 games. We saw Tristan Jarry, Casey DeSmith, and Louis Domingue, 3 different goaltenders in that series. 2 years prior to that were also first-round exits, courtesy of the New York Islanders. It's safe to say the Penguins have a winning problem right now. They have struggled to get into the playoffs. They have struggled to make it out of the first round. Who does that fall on? Does it fall on Sidney Crosby? Does it fall on Evgeny Malkin? Does it fall on Chris Letang? I personally believe it falls on Mike Sullivan.
Working against Garrison. Comes off a double screen. He passes inside. Goes over to the corner. This is Nick Marshall. Dumps it off to Fisher. Fisher works against James again. 1-on-1. Goes up in the post. Puts it up. Uses the glass. Draws the foul. And 1 for Nas Fisher.
Playoff time.
And I'm not going to disagree with you what you said about Carson Beck, because I'm not fully sold on Carson Beck as a quarterback just yet. I do trust Jalen Milroe more than Carson Beck, but I trust Beck more in Kirby Smart's system than I would Milroe in DeBoer's system right now. I mean, Milroe was a Saban quarterback. DeBoer really hasn't had a chance to go out and scout for any of his type of players that he would like to bring to this team. I mean, that's why Michael Penix Jr. worked out so well last year with Washington. I mean, they had 3 great receivers that made it into the draft. I don't exactly see that happen with Alabama once it comes postseason.
Back to Visconti. Visconti back to Racinka. Racinka draws the 3, and that one will go in. Madison Racinka drills another 3. She now has 8 points on the night.
Over to Williams, and that's good for the 2. So, Austin, what does Berkeley need to do here?
Well, I mean, if I'm Berkeley here, I need a desperation should be starting to kick in now. I mean, you're down by almost 20 points. I'd start putting up more 3-point shots here. I mean, you look at the 3-point differences for both of these teams. Point Park put up 23 3-points, only making 9 of those. Berkeley only put up 7, making 2 of those shots. If I'm Berkeley, I'm going for 3 more 3-point shots. Go to Hugh, go to Johnson, go to Jackson. Those should be your 3 key players to centralize around. Let them put up some shots here against Point Park. The driving game isn't going to work much longer. We're only 3 minutes left here in the third. Not much time for Berkeley left to put up some points.
In the second half, starting off will be Giles. Giles will find Ballo in the corner. Ballo will go all the way back to Blada. Blada swings to Pavlik. Pavlik will take the 3, and this one will bounce just in and out. This one will be quickly rebounded by number 22, that being Faith Birch. Birch will go back to Rosales. Rosales back to Birch. Birch finds Magestro. Magestro inside to Gregory. Gregory puts it up, and this one will be turned over.
I mean, this is another conference that goes back and forth all year. Right now we got SMU and Clemson, and I got to tell you, I got to go to the Pitt and Clemson game, and it's safe to say Clay Cublick's going to be playing on Sundays in the next couple years. But SMU, honestly, this is my dark horse team in the playoffs this year. I believe they can make some noise. I believe they can upset some SEC teams, possibly even some Big Ten teams. I'm going to go SMU with a dominant win over
Beautiful spin inside from Johnson there, too. Point Park came out aggressive to start off the 4th with some impeccable defense. Johnson was able to read it like a book, puts up the quick shot. This will be Ballo from downtown, and it is good. Ballo from downtown, bottom of the net. Add 3 more to the Pioneers' lead.
Letting the pace come to you instead of letting other teams bring the pace to you.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. One thing I'd add on to that as well is they got to make their 3s. I mean, early on in the season, they were drilling it from downtown. Alexis Giles, Ari Blada, Emma Pavlik, and then it seemed like second half of that season, the 3-pointing percentage started to go down quite drastically. So improving 3-point percentage for the women is probably the biggest takeaway, I would say, going into next year.
Yeah, and for me, I would say for the...
Going to go over to Aubrey. Now they're going to start to slow things down. They still got 18 on the shot clock. They can make some magic here. They're going to go back to Hillgarner. Hillgarner works against Green. She goes over to Sydney Carr. Carr going to quickly go inside. Finds Kano. Kano puts it up with the right hand. And that might be a dagger. It is 59-50. 9-point lead for the Celtics. Visconti has it back again for Penn State. She blows by Carr. She goes back over to Burns. Burns has it, picks up her dribble, goes to Green. Green takes it up with the right hand, draws the foul, and one for Renaya Green. Foul going to be called against Kano. This sends Green to the line. Big play there for Penn State.
12 thoughts.
Yeah, the Big 12 has been a catastrophe this year. I mean, we've seen so many teams up and down. At one point it was Colorado. Then we saw Arizona State up in here, Iowa State. It was kind of back and forth with some BYU at one point in time. Now it's a matchup between Iowa State, Arizona State. This is probably going to be the deciding factor on who takes the 12 seed come playoff time. I believe in this championship, Arizona State's going to win by 3.
Do you have, I guess, out of the two, is there one that you believe Pittsburgh should rock with, or do you think they should look out in the market for someone else?
Well, I mean, you have to figure out who's out in the market, and Art Rooney said, look, I think we're going to sign one of these guys and move forward with him. So, you can see it from both ends. I mean, on the one hand, Russell Wilson is a guy who's probably headed to Canton. He's probably headed to the Hall of Fame and was extremely productive until the end of the season. You have to figure out what happened there if you're the Steelers. Why did the offense fall so precipitously off a cliff?
Warner will now begin his drive. Warner takes it himself. He goes up and in, and a beautiful take there by Warner. Nasty work, in and round layup. Lays it up and in. The score now 88-79. 9 seconds left to be played here in this MEC game. He also draws the foul there. This is going to send him to the line. Caden Warner will be on to attempt the free throws. Daniel Autry will check into the game for West Liberty as number 2 Lance Scholler will check out. On the night, Caden Warner has only 10 points. Relatively quiet game for Caden Warner. His first free throw shot will go up, and this one will be good. The score now is 88-80. Makes this only an 8-point game. But if you're Point Park, you're looking for a quick 3 here and a quick stop on defense. Something we have not quite seen yet from Point Park tonight. They're going to force the full court press. This will be Spadafora. Works against both Miller and Felix. He's hesitating. He finds DiAugustino. DiAugustino will now drive down court. 1 second left, and he will run out the clock. And that is going to do it here at West Liberty. The final score tonight is 88-80 as the West Liberty Hilltoppers will defeat the Point Park Pioneers in this Mountain East Conference showdown. With this win, West Liberty will now go to 5-0 on the season, and Point Park will fall to 3-3. The upcoming game that West Liberty has is this Tuesday, November 26th, as they take on Salem at 7:30. For Point Park, their next game will be on Tuesday, November 26th. I'll be calling that game as well. Will be against Wheeling at CCAC at 7:30. Impressive showing from the Pioneers tonight. Played here in the third period. Sales has it for Penn State Altoona. She's working against Kano. Now it goes against 2 defenders. She's going to go back to Burns. Burns goes to McCracken. McCracken pulls the 3. This one's going to be airballed. Quickly rebounded by Sydney Card. Sydney Card, the player of the week for the AMCC. She's going to go around 2 defenders. Puts it up against blocked by Sales. Directed traffic. Van going to take the long 3. This one will fall for the senior guard, Nathaniel Van. Drills a 3 and extends the lead 37-33. Biggest lead of the day yet for Point Park.
Absolutely, and I mean, both of these are great teams. I mean, Alabama and Georgia are 2 of the most explosive offenses in all of college football. But I mean, the head coaching difference. You have Kirby Smart, who's a 2-time national champion, also won national titles with Alabama when he was under Saban. And you got Kalen DeBoer for Alabama, who made it to the national championship with Washington, but ultimately lost to Michigan. I just don't trust that lack of experience when it comes to playoff time.
Anderson steps back for 3 as the shot clock was expiring. This is going to be rebounded. 2-on-1 now for Salem. He lays it up and dumps it and slams it in. It's Tyree Davis off the alley-oop.
Each other more.
Absolutely. I would say go big or go home for the men. I mean, you're losing both Fisher and Jawar. You're going to need a center. You're going to need someone down the paint to get the rebounds, set up screens, set up blocks, set up passes. So go big or go home.